First of all, I really appreciate the range of project that we explored today in this session. And I really appreciate that not all of the project that we looked at here was mostly about generating a design and using artificial intelligence only to explore ideas, but also how to use artificial intelligence kind of to refine our tools for the design process, and how we can actually explore our ideas or generate our ideas, such as Camille project or and Lama's project, to design or to explore things. Is just something fascinating. It's really artificial intelligence are actually profoundly changing the way that we design and we experience our built environment, which is something fascinating. So let's open it for everybody. If anybody have a question about the project, general comments, we can take it now. Okay, let me start actually, and with using artificial intelligence to design something new, do you think that, and I'm specifically talking about the two papers, the first two papers presented in this session, how do you evaluate the results that you're gonna get from that process? I do remember Mustafa and Muhammad talked about the beauty, right? Evaluating the beauty of the landscape, if I'm not mistaken. But generally, we can write code, we can use AI to generate something new. So how are we going to evaluate that? Do you think that AI is replacing the designer, or it's helping the designer to work with something? So just generally from your experience and your projects, it's going to be interested to hear your thoughts. Please go ahead.
Okay, I can start with data, and Mustafa can talk about our training system and all processes of our model. And there is two important things. First is data, and second is data quality. The landscape architecture has different scopes and huge scopes to macro and micro scale. We choose micro scale to understand how we will do these things. Can we use artificial intelligence in design process? And we decided to divide data because we cannot rule big data, but we can decide according to Sun Tzu. And we created our workflow for this study. We started simple plans of micro scale of landscape architecture. And actually our data is in cloud system on Amazon. And from online repository, data is flowing, and we drained all the things with labels, and we created our own data set from a cloud system of Amazon. And with that labels, we divided and we made our queries on the system, and we obtained the all categories, and our aim is that the landscape categories in front and backyard designs. There is more than 5,000 images after that beauty query, and we use that beauty. We use that beauty because we need to understand. Not understand. We need to use qualified data, and more than 100 people voted that projects, and they voted 5 and more over 10, and we obtained more than 5,000 images in all things, you know, the perspectives, diagrams, sections, plans, everything. And we one by one we downloaded and examined the images, and we obtained our first data set has 224 plans. Then we created our own data set with highest quality which we can, and the training model and all process. Mustafa can answer those questions, but data preparation is not easy for us, and yeah.
So maybe I can answer in general respect for your question, and so that yeah, we generated some landscape plans and landscape images from our data, but we selected the images from our data set that has a beauty score 5 or above. So for evaluation of the results, maybe another algorithm can be used, like aesthetic evaluation algorithm. So we have 300,000 images that is being voted by people as for beauty, form, function, etc., etc. So there's a 5 topic that people voted, but so that we can use the whole data to evaluate the beauty aspect of the generated results, maybe. So for evaluating the generation of machine learning algorithm, we can use another machine learning algorithm.
Yeah, or you can use voting as well, right? You can also share it with people and take their opinion about what they think about which one is better. And it will be more humane in this case, I believe, rather than sending to a machine to evaluate it. Yeah. What about in your case, Gizem?
We took all our data as a kind of CAD format from the Turkey houses, like Turkish administration of government sharing, and all the architects can put their projects, and we can download it from online. So it's a kind of open source part. But the hardest thing for us was the semantic segmentation, because they had some typologies, so you have to restrict yourselves. We took as a kind of classification, so it was like 21 typologies. But then we realized that maybe we can use this like master plan generation parts. But for the starting point, we started with the generating how we can get the realistic plan layouts. So nowadays we are just trying to understand how the algorithms works. So maybe, as I mentioned before, like fit values could be much more effective to comparing these results. But we also tried some graph-based generations, except the house gun and other algorithms. Maybe after the segmentation, all this methodology, we can try to understand how we can use those both algorithms together. So it's difficult. I mean, we are still asking the same questions as well, every people. I hope that we can figure out.
Yeah. Do you think that you are generating more variation of an already established language or design style, or you are generating something new and novel with your algorithms? And I think the question also goes for Mustafa and Mohammed.
Yes, I mean, that's why I was searching about the graph-based terminology, because they were using the like east-west and the east, I mean, all this orientations part. So if we comes out to the landscape like the other previous works, maybe we can use these master programs for this, because the Turkey houses buildings in the every city in the Turkey, so they just use the typologies, so it's like a kind of standardization. So maybe after understanding all this standardization, we can create and add with new plans or new generation types for the users, for the people, and for architects also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hope that. I mean, if I answered this, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you did.
If I
You did. Thank you.
understand.
Yeah. We still have 4 minutes. Any comments? We can take, I think, a question or comment.
I have
anybody.
a question. I have a question for Camille.
Sure.
So I saw your paper about about gestures and how you can design these gestures, and I saw that you created like some form of structure, spatial of the gestures, where they are located as a graph or something.
So the project is actually it's so simple. It really is just learning. And
do you look at that temporally? So do you locate, you created a structure for the spatial coordinates. Do you look at this this structure temporally, how it's changing with time?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
I mean, for example, when you create this structure from the gestures, do you look at how this, the movement is, you have some that is creating on the so do you analyze the movement in the gesture so that you can understand something related to that person doing these gestures? Or for example, why I'm relating to this, for example, do you look at the gestures of artists? So sometimes some artists have some form of gestures that are different from another artist, so that you can identify the way of painting of one artist compared to another from their gestures. So do you relate it to the artists and these kind of topics?
Yeah, I think that is no longer a machine learning question, and I think that is why I was so much that is individual and personal or bodies, right? Those things that artists do. For my everyday work, I mean, I use Revit, I make walls, all the walls are the same. And I feel like it doesn't look like me anymore. And so once our hands are involved in there, it can start looking like us. It can start having individuality and expression. So it